Mm-hmm.
But before we do that, we'd like to announce a great partnership like we do at the beginning of every episode, Sam. With who?
Who is it, Sam? I don't remember. Of course I do. It's SeatGeek.
Yeah.
We have a partnership with SeatGeek. If your first time purchase, if you use promo code Caniac Report, you'll get $20 off your purchase. So if you want to go see the Hurricanes on the road at home, you could do that. Or maybe you want to go to the Four Nations face off if that's not over yet and you're listening to this. If you can get tickets on SeatGeek, why not get $20 off one of those tickets? If you want to go see a concert, a show, a comedy show, it doesn't matter. If it's available on SeatGeek and you haven't used it before, promo code Caniac Report will get you $20 off your first purchase. Why would you want to leave free money on the table?
Exactly. Use it like Penny using her toy.
Yeah.
I see her in the background.
Yeah, she's having a good old time back there.
Yes, she is. And remember, for those who don't know, if you are watching us on YouTube, remember to hit like and subscribe and hit that notification bell so you never miss another episode. And heck, leave a
And
comment
if you
too.
don't want to look at Sam or myself, at least my dog's right back there, so you can look at her the whole time while we talk.
Hey, if that's what draws people to watch us is Penny, then she needs to be in every episode from now on, Sam.
Well, she is the podcast mascot. She's
Yes,
she became a Hurricanes fan when the team, the Phoenix Coyotes, relocated. All
Yeah,
dogs are fans of the Coyotes.
Yeah, they are, but they're no longer, Sam.
No.
But also another thing too is that we do have a link for donations. So if you feel like you want to donate, there is a link to that in both our episode descriptions on traditional podcast side and on the YouTube side of things as well. And remember, if you are listening to us on the traditional podcast side of things, remember to leave a rating, a review, and follow us because that helps us a ton. And remember, guys, so again, we're looking at the forwards. You need to play at least 5 games. And if you don't know how the scale works, honestly, you probably need to watch part 1 and then part 2. But if you somehow play part 2 and not part 1, then this is for you. The grading scale is usually how you would get grades in school. A is amazing. F, you're bad, terrible. So, and another thing too, again, through the first 41 games. So on a technicality, yes, we are going to be grading Natchez and Drury. So we're going to start, Sam, with one of your favorite players, Jesperi Kokniemi. KK for short.
Yeah, KK for sure. I've actually thought KK's had a solid season. Can you remind me his point totals, Sam? Do you have those up in front of you?
Yeah, I'll go ahead and bring those totals up. So even though we kind of grade through the first 41 games, we are kind of at like the 50 game mark, 55 game mark. But in those 55 games, Sam, 11 goals, 15 assists, 26 points. And we're recording this after the Utah game.
Yeah.
So past couple games he hasn't really gotten a point, but before those couple games he was kind of on the heater, if you remember, Sam.
And I've loved his game. I've loved his play this season. Compared to last year, I think KK's having a much better season on both sides of the puck, in my opinion. He hasn't always played number 2 center. He's kind of been 2-4 and just kind of bouncing back and forth. He is the de facto number 2 now, with Drury being traded. I think it's fair to give KK just a solid flat B. I think he's been pretty good, and the reason why I don't have him at an A is because you still want more from a second line center. But I think he's been solid this season. He hasn't done a lot of glaring, disgusting plays that just agitate you. He's been a little bit more physical. He's been in front of the net. He's scoring a little bit more. He hasn't had as big of a problem offensively. Recently, he's really been playing well on the offensive side of the puck. So if you can keep getting stuff like that from KK, I think you're in a good situation. and I hope to see it continue on in his career here in Carolina if that continues on to next season. Um, and as we continue to go down the stretch this year and into the playoffs, I think he can get 50 points, which I think that was our benchmark for him, and I think he's on pace to get close.
Yeah, so with KK, what's interesting with him is I think I do remember the grade I gave him last year, which was like a D, because I did not think he played good at all last year. And it kind of showed in the playoffs too when we got Kuznetsov and Gensel.
Yeah.
He was kind of at that point of getting scratched or being on the fourth line.
Yep.
But this season, do I think he's gotten better? Yes.
Yep.
I probably wouldn't give him a B like Sam would, but I give him a C plus.
Okay.
If you're okay with that, Sam.
I understand.
Trying to be funny.
I understand.
The reason why I gave him a C plus is mainly that point production. If you are a second line center, you need to be producing a lot more points than KK has. And I'm actually going to bring up his projected total, Sam, because
I want to think he's close to the 50.
Even though there are sections of points, and as it's slowly coming up here, he is projected to hit 38 points.
Oh, okay, so he's a little bit lower than I thought he was. I thought he was closer to the 50.
Nope, he is projected to hit 38.
Well, then I would say for him to really truly be in a good way this season, he needs to continue. He needs to continue the pace and play he's been playing like.
Yeah, and it's interesting because I mean, obviously you traded Drury, so I kind of can see a scenario where he's kind of maybe a future Jordan Stahl type player,
Sure.
maybe.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, I could see that pretty simply.
I mean, I definitely could see the point where KK's future here is a little bit more cemented now that Drury is gone. So, definitely could see that. The next player, Sam, is one of the heart and soul of the team, Jordan Martinook.
I think Martinook's had a pretty good season. I think giving him a solid A, I think, is pretty fair in this situation. He's been excellent in every situation you put him in. He's been offensive. He's been everything you asked him to do, heart and soul. Yeah, I think A is fine. I mean, he's the kind of guy, part of that identity line of Stahl, Martinook, and whoever the winger is, been Carrier until he got hurt. So, I mean, yeah, when you're part of an identity line, we expect things. So,
yeah, and I would give Martinook an A2 just because what's different with Martinook than I would say probably a lot of players on this forward list is that his expectations are different than the top 6 players. Now, should he still contribute? Yes. But Martinook, I think he is the most hardworking player in the group. There's not a lot of expectations on him, point wise, which is why we're always like, wow, he's managed to get like 30 something points.
Yep.
So he plays very well. Does he have a lot of skill? No, he doesn't have a lot of skill, but he's a hard worker, and he plays very well with Stahl and whoever is with them, whether it's Fetch, Carrier, Jarvis. I mean, he's been excellent, and honestly, I'm glad that we were able to sign him to a contract, because losing him, I think, would have hurt this team a lot.
It would have been a very tough thing to get past. No doubt about it.
Yes. So, Martinook, you have an A. Good for you. I'm sure if you're listening to this, I'm sure you're happy about that. So I doubt you're listening to this, but if you are,
and you're welcome on the podcast.
Yes, you are. Yes, anytime. Next player, Sam. This is considered a Player, interesting season that he's had. Sebastian Aho. I don't think he's lived up to this player that he kind of was the past season.
The reality is you're looking at a player who is point per game, isn't he?
Yes, he is.
So he's a point per game. It's really dependent on where you thought, it's always caliber play, right? If someone like KK had Aho points, we'd say A plus 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 plus, right? Because that'd be a freaking leap. The problem is, I think Aho hasn't been as consistent this year as he has been in the past. I think he's spurty. I think his goal scoring is down from the last couple seasons.
Yep.
And you have to take all that into account because he's a star player and he should be treated as such. So the reality becomes, okay, what do we expect here? And I think expecting him to score, the more points and being more consistent is a fair metric to grade him on. And for that reason, I think I'm going to put him at, because I can't discount the fact he's a point per player. But I think where a lot of times I've probably given him an A in the past. I think I'm going to have to give him a flat B for this year.
I'm giving him a flat B too. And I think with Aho's case, Sam, it's not a stats problem. It's an eye test problem because, yeah, he's getting the points, which is excellent. But if you look at the eye test, I mean, has he really? I haven't really seen a game yet where he's been total dominance that we've seen.
Probably the closest would have been the Utah game we just had, where him and Aho, and Jarvis just dominated.
Yeah, but I mean, again, we've seen how good he can play. He just hasn't really stepped it up. And I do think if you talk to Aho about his play this season, I think he probably would have around the same opinion as we do.
Sure.
That he knows he can do better. And I mean, with the addition of Mikko Rantanen, there really isn't no excuse.
No. Absolutely no excuse.
Yes. So the next player, Sam, is a player that we added. He's new for this season, and that is Jack Roslovic.
Yeah, I think Roslovic has been an impressive player. I think 20 goals scored, right? I think he's at 20 or right around 20 or something like
19 goals.
19 goals. So dude's scoring goals significantly better than he did last season. And just on improvement alone, I'm going to give Roslovic an A. I think there's parts of his game where you're a little bit questionable, where he's not as consistent, but I think you have to take a look at what he did last year, what he's doing this year, and realize that is a significant improvement. And the dude can play, whether it's the first line or fourth line, and be productive and be noticeable. So I think Eddie plays power. I think he plays on the second power play unit. So giving Roslovic an A, I think, is pretty fair because he had so low expectations coming onto this team to begin with. He's
he did
all of them.
I wouldn't give him an A. I give him probably a B plus. The reason why I wouldn't give him an A is because he has cooled off. He had such a blazing hot start to the season, and he has cooled off. I do think with Roslovic, the main reason why he has so many goals is because he benefited from playing on a line with Aho or Jarvis. Do I think he's an Aho Jarvis type of player? No. He's not, but he definitely benefited from being on that line. I think he is a great skater.
Yep.
Other than he has some skill, some hustle to his game, but again, considering that I don't consider him a top 6 player.
Yep.
And he's put up 19 goals. I mean, I'm gonna say a B plus because I think that is very, very good. And goals are hard to come by. It's a lot harder to get goals than assists. So,
yeah,
B
I agree
plus
completely.
Definitely for him. Next player, Sam. This player's played quite a few games for us. He hasn't played like 30 or 40, but he's played quite a bit as Yuha Yaska.
I like Yasko. He's played pretty well, in my opinion. He's been impressive, solid performance. Um,
No expectations for this guy
no,
at all.
none at all. I was there actually for his very first game in the NHL. I got to see his rookie lap in Florida because that
Yeah,
was
you
pretty
did.
cool. And he's been solid. He got rocked in his first game in the league. I remember seeing him get absolutely flattened and a huge thunder hit against him. Cannot remember the player that laid the body on him. But after that, I think he's been solid. He hasn't scored a goal yet. You're not really wanting him. He's not there to score. He's kind of there as a support piece, and he's doing well as a support piece. I mean, if I want to give him a grade, I'll give him a solid B. He's only came up again this year and this calendar year as his first game played, so January, still small sample size, but the consensus, if you listen to people like Adam Gold, he's an NHL player.
Yeah, I think so too. And I think the reason why he's an NHL player is defined more by the eye test than by the stats. You'd look at the 17 points, 17 games he's played, only 3
Yeah.
points. Yeah, not
Yep.
impressive. But you look at how he's played on the ice, he's really good. And
Yeah.
I mean, I believe he's a big guy too, to be honest. I'm gonna look up his uh height here. He's exactly 6 foot. He weighs 210 pounds. So yeah, he is definitely a big guy. But I love his play. I
Yep.
think if we had a healthy scratch player for next season, I'd have him as our healthy scratch guy because I think he's
Yeah.
an excellent depth guy. Excellent.
He is an excellent depth guy. He's an NHL player. My guess, though, is if we tell him you're going to be the 13th forward, he's going to go play somewhere else.
He might be, but you never know. The market might not be as high on him as the Hurricanes might be. But he's definitely played very well.
Yeah.
The next player, Sam, it's another player, a young player in Seth Jarvis, the player that I'm wearing.
Yeah. I'm wearing Aho.
Yeah, so Seth Jarvis, I think with him, recently he's been on a heater. He has been playing very, very well. Has he been like that throughout this whole season? No, I thought there were definitely a couple of dips of his performance, but overall, I mean, 49 games, 45 points, 22 goals, 23 assists. It's hard for me to give him lower than an A. It just is.
Yeah, and I mean, I'm going to give him an A because he plays anywhere you tell him to play with a great attitude, and he fits in anywhere in the lineup. I think he's been, over the first 41 games, I think he's been our second best player. Our best player isn't on the team anymore over the first 41 games. But I've loved Jarvis this season, and I think he is currently playing as our best player over the last few weeks or a couple weeks. I think he's been our best player.
Uh-oh.
Um,
I cannot hear you. I can't hear you at all.
I mean, I've loved his tenacity, and he plays really well. He plays in kind of a in your face kind of game, even though he's not the biggest player on the team. And all I really want to see from him is him to continue to get better. And I think he very easily could get better, and he's going to continue to score more, pile up points more, and he's clearly, one of the top talents in the league, and that's why he got paid accordingly.
Yeah. And
So, so an A. I don't know if I said a grade, but an A.
Yeah, same here. A all around. He has been great. And I agree with Adam in the fact that I think he is the best pure goal scorer that we have. And Sam, let's get to one.
Maybe Rantanen, but
Well, maybe Rantanen. We have yet to see his p- p- true performance with us, and I do believe we will see that. But one more player, and then we'll get to a sponsor, Sam. And this is a player we traded, Jack Drury.
I guess I haven't loved Jury this season. B minus, C plus. Not going to spend a
I
lot of
give him a
time on
straight
him.
out C. Straight out C.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I think that's fair too. He's been okay. I think in
Or
general, I
C
think
plus, maybe.
Carolina. Yeah, I think in general, Carolina is probably more on the disappointed side when it comes to the forward group or when it comes to the center depth this year. They have two centers where you know where they fit, and then you've really struggled with that second and third scoring line center because it's Stahl and Aho. After that, it's like I don't know what we can do. So yeah, I think that's fair. I'm not gonna spend a lot of time on him because he was hurt for a little while, and really by the time he left, I don't think this was his greatest season. So I don't have a
I
lot to
think
say on Drury this year.
the only thing that caught my eye on Drury the most this season is he is one of the best face-off guys that we had. So
Now that's very true.
he's very good with face-offs, but not a lot to say just because I mean, yeah, I mean one thing on the ice that I see, I think he's a very smart player, but other than that, he's not very skilled or anything. But that's pretty much it on Jury. Now we're going to get to a sponsor, and then we're going to give our grades for the rest of the forwards. This NHL season has been as predictable as a puck rolling on its edge. No one knows where it's going, but that just means there's time for your favorite team to figure things out, and games left for you to get in the action at DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NHL. It's super easy for first timers to get started. Try betting on something simple like picking a team to win. Go to DraftKings Sportsbook app, select your team, and place your first bet. And if you are new to DraftKings, listen up. New customers bet $5 to get $150 in bonus bets instantly. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now and use code THPN. That's code THPN for new customers to get $150 in bonus bets instantly when you bet just $5. Only on DraftKings, the crown is yours. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. In New York, call 8778-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY 467-369. In Connecticut, help is available for problem gambling. Call 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org. Please play responsibly. On behalf of Boot Hill Casino and Resort in Kansas, 21 plus age and eligibility varies by jurisdiction. Void in Ontario. New customers only. Bonus bets expire 168 hours after issuance. For additional terms and responsible gaming resources, see dkng.co/audio. NHL and the NHL Shield are registered trademarks of the National Hockey League. NHL and NHL team marks are the property of the NHL and its teams. NHL 2025, all rights reserved. The next player, Sam. Oh, captain, my captain. Jordan Stahl.
I
A
think
plus
Jordan.
for him. For me.
Yeah, A plus. He's having a really good season. I really can't think of a game where I'm like, oh, Stall. Other than when we were like, oh, Stone Hands, when he misses on a great goal scoring opportunity.
But you
But
don't count on him on offense.
no,
Though.
he's not there for offense. He's there to shut down, be on the forecheck, and generate chances. We're not expecting him to go out there and score a lot, but I've loved everything from the captain this year. He's been very good. So yeah, I agree. A plus.
Yeah, definitely. He in 56 games, Sam, 10 goals, 18 assists, 28 points. I mean, he's done very well. And just remember that hat trick that he had against Toronto.
That was
Like,
fun.
oh my gosh, he has just been playing fantastic. Him and Martinook have been like the hardest working players. I'm telling you, if Aho Svetch played the same work level, or work ethic as those players, I think they'd be getting a lot more point
Yeah.
production.
Yep.
But Stahl has just been amazing. I still think he's one of the best defensive centermen in the NHL.
I agree.
So the next player, Sam, boy, he's one of my favorites this season, and he's new to the team. Eric Robinson, Swiss
Eric
Family
Robinson.
Robinson, as Script would say.
Yeah, he's been very good. I'd give him a flat A. He's been good in all situations. Another guy who can go like literally in any part of the lineup and be successful. And I think that's really what matters, is that you can play anywhere.
I'm giving him an A plus. Like, oh my gosh, you look at his point totals from recent years. The highest he's gotten has been like 19 points, I believe. Or
Yeah,
27 points, but he's definitely going to hit that.
yeah. I mean, again, I've liked him. Um, I think maybe at times I might like to see him do a little bit more uh, on the score sheet, but I've liked him. That's why I'm giving him a flat A. I'm not willing to do A plus, but I'm willing to give him a flat A.
Yeah. Well, I mean, he's another player too. Like he's kind of like a Martinook and Stahl type of player where you don't count on him for offense, but he's bringing the offense, which is great. Uh, very, very nice speed too. Loves his skating game. Overall, just a great player. Great addition. My gosh. Next player, Sam. I'm gonna be a lot more bullish on this player. Andrei Svechnikov.
you, you mean bearish?
Oh, I
Uh,
don't care. He's gosh. I'm giving him a D. Sorry.
I'm gonna go C minus. Yeah, it's just hard. You drafted him so high. He just hasn't hit what you expect him to hit yet. It's like, okay, is he just never going to amount to it? Is he never going to live up to it? Is his contract, overpriced? It's an interesting situation. I love Svetch. He's a fan favorite. That'll never change. You want more, and I don't know how else to describe it. Just another season of you want more from him. Is he hurt still? I don't know, but I don't know what else to say other than just as continuing on. I want more from the player. So yeah, I get a D. I'm gonna go a C minus because I still think the dude has had some games where it's like, holy crap, you're
The Rangers
all-star.
game.
Yeah, where like you're an all-star, and then other games it's like, where is he? He's not. I don't even know if he's on the ice. So yeah, I think a C minus D. I'm not going to argue with anyone who says those at all.
And the thing that disappoints me, I'd say probably maybe the most, is it seems like his physicality is gone this season. He used to be
Yeah,
a home wrecker on the ice almost every game. Granted, yeah, he get penalties, but sometimes you gotta throw your body, and he just hasn't been doing that.
I wonder if a lot of it is he's afraid to get hurt again. That kind of became Jeff Skinner. He was afraid to get physical because of. But yeah, it was just like I'm saying, maybe get hurt again, just like I was saying, reiterating Jeff Skinner, same thing. But he already wasn't overly physical, and when you take a non-physical guy, you get hurt, and he was afraid to get hurt again. He just stopped being physical altogether. That can happen to a player where they just don't want to get hurt again, so they take themselves out of positions where that could happen. Maybe that's the situation that Svetch is finding himself in.
Yeah, maybe it is. And for those of you, if you've kind of seen some lag, we are kind of having some technical difficulties. But yeah, I mean, I agree with you on Svetch. It's that C minus D type of category that he's in. He needs
Yep.
to play a lot better.
Yep.
Maybe I'm hoping. I mean, the most important thing is the playoffs.
Agreed.
Hopefully, once we get to the playoffs, he can start being the Svechnikov that we know he can be. We've seen flashes. Then we've seen flashes of him being like, what the heck, man, you're hurting us. So it's just been very frustrating. And it's more of the flashes of disappointment than flashes of amazement with Svetch. The
Correct.
next player is William Carrier. Sam. And from what I've seen of him, I'm giving him, I'd say probably, I wouldn't give him an A, but I give him a B plus.
I agree with you. He's been pretty solid this season. It's unfortunate he got hurt. Sounds like his season could be over with, but he's going to be a solid third line player for us for a while to come, and I look forward to him when he gets healthy, and hope he gets healthy soon.
Yeah, I am too. I've always thought the player that fits most with Jordan Martinook and Jordan Stahl is William Carrier. So there are, I believe, rumors that he might be back in time for the playoffs. And I think
Okay.
if that's the case, you put him on that line with Stahl and Martinook. And that should be your shut down line, I would say, when it comes to the home games against the other team's top players. Because Carrier, I think, is a very, very good defensive forward.
Yep.
He always plays with a lot of tenacity. He's, I think, probably the most physical player that we have. He just lay hits after hits, and I love that.
I agree. He's been very, very physical, and it's been a great thing to watch from him.
Yes, because I don't like watching the candy canes.
Yeah, no, it does.
The next player, Sam, is Tyson Jost.
He's been fine. I don't have a lot to say about him because I didn't hate him, I didn't love him, but I think a B is fair. I think when he played well. I don't really think of any game where I was like, "Ah, you're bad," or any game where I was like, "Oh my goodness, he's just elite." So I think B is fair.
I think B is fair too. What's funny with Jost is I thought the more games he played, the better he got. Because the games that he started at playing with us, I was like, he's okay. He's okay.
Yeah.
But right when it came to his injury, I was like, man, this guy's playing fantastic.
Yeah.
And he was a top pick too. He was like number 10 by Colorado. So
Yeah, so hopefully, you just continue to get more out of him. And again, he's also hurt, so he should be back somewhat soon as well. So hopefully we'll get to see more of him this season.
Yep. And the next player, Sam, a player that we have traded. And you probably know who this player is, and that is Martin Necas.
Yeah, A+ for Necas. He's been freaking awesome this season. Deserves every bit of the accolades he's getting. And I said it before, I'll say it again, and it's being proven to be correct. The moment he got out of a system that doesn't value skill, like Colorado clearly highly values skill, he was going to go on a heater and just pile up the points. And exactly what he's doing. He's going somewhere that really truly recognizes the value of skill and recognizes that you don't all have to be only play defensive hockey, only play the forecheck hockey. You can go in and let your offense wheel and deal, and Necas is benefiting from that kind of system. And it's proving to be an accurate thing. And that's why Colorado is as successful as they are, is they recognize and let their skill guys take over games. And Necas is one of those highly skilled players who knows how to carry the puck in a lot of it. Sometimes he struggles with that, but I mean, and a lot of it has to, of course, he's playing with Nathan MacKinnon now, but
yeah, he is.
You can't you still can't produce that unless you're also a skilled player yourself, and he is, and he's benefiting from the system change that he's been able to enter into.
Yeah, so I am going to exclude his performance in Colorado. I'm just going to focus on his performance here. And starting out, he was like literally the best player in the NHL, arguably the best player in the NHL.
Yeah.
And then his point production took a huge nosedive. And I would probably give Natchez with this time here.
I mean, I still
plus,
think
a B plus.
I think an A+. I think he was our best player.
He took a bit of a nosedive.
He did, but
I'll give him an A minus. I'm willing to negotiate an A minus.
And I think that's fine. I think he was our best player during his time with Carolina. He got the most. He was, I think, leading our team in points. He was excellent. He would score goals. He was, pretty solid on the power play. Yes, his point production took a dip, but that was expected. We knew he wasn't going to be Connor McDavid level. Do I think he
No,
gets
but it
100
was a
points?
large. It was a large dip, but
Well, again, I think a lot of it has to do with the system. And
it could be.
eventually,
That's a
system.
conversation for a whole nother episode, though. When we're
Yeah.
talking
Well,
about
it's just, I'm just saying, you argue that, there's nothing wrong with the system. And the problem is people who believe that have no argument to support that, because all of the arguments and all the evidence and all the facts show that the system itself has not produced in the playoffs. And Natchez is a prime example of a player who doesn't benefit from the system continuing into the playoffs.
I think we'll see this year's playoffs. Um, that's going to be the real test. But then the last player, Sam, the very last player, is a rookie. His first season with us,
Has
who has been
Rantanen not played?
amazing.
Wait, has Mikko Rantanen not played 5 games? And Taylor Hall, have they not played 5 games with us?
Well, I guess we could do Miko Rantanen and Taylor Hall. Want to do them? You want to do them real quick?
Well,
I mean,
I
we
would
can
say
do it.
Rantanen. I would just say Rantanen is C. He hasn't played a lot, hasn't got a lot of points, and Taylor Hall, I think,
A
is
B
a high
plus
B.
for me.
Yeah, B plus. He's played pretty well. I just was like, I thought they played at least 5 games, so maybe not. But I
Okay,
expect
no,
more.
we'll include them in.
Well, just quick grades for them. They haven't played a lot, so I would say C plus, C minus for C to anything in the C's for Rantanen because he hasn't produced what you needed. And then Taylor Hall has been very good. He's not getting the points, but he's playing really, really well, and he's really, really noticeable. He's just not finding the back of the net. So I think a B plus for him is fair.
Yeah, and I would agree
2
with
new guys.
that as well. Very small sample size, but
Yep.
considering the circumstances when it comes to illness and also just the shock value with Rantanen and all that type of stuff, I am willing to get. I do think we will see Rantanen turn it on. He's just to me too skilled of a guy to not.
I think this tournament's going to help that.
I hope it does. But now that we've got the two players that we acquired recently out of the way with, now we can get to the last player I want to talk about. That's Jackson Blake. I'm giving him an A plus all the way, baby.
Yeah, Jackson Blake has been a surprise player. He's been excellent. He's one of the, I think he's top 5 in the top 5 rookies for goal scoring. Yeah, you can't ask for more. He's top 6 player. He's playing as a top 6 role. I don't think that was where a lot of people had him. I didn't have him there. I actually had him toward the bottom of the possible players to make the roster this season. I think a lot of people did. Most people were like, it'll be Nadeau, Felix Unger-Sorum. I think those were the top 2 expected to make the roster. Jackson Blake beat him out, and he's been excellent. And I can't wait to see him continue to grow and continue to get better, because that's all he's going to do is continue to grow, continue to get better, and continue to learn from the all-stars that are on this roster.
Yep. His play reminds me a lot of Jarvis's play just because he's a very aggressive guy on the forecheck. Mm-hmm. He has so much skill. Do I think he needs to polish that skill a little bit? Yes, because while he's able to make it, there are times where he's not able to finish it. But boy,
he'll learn,
you can
and he'll
see
learn.
It. He'll learn, definitely. I do think he will. I think he has a good goal-scoring punch to his game, too. I think he's just an excellent player all around. But yeah, those are our grades for the forwards, and also us finishing the 2-part episode of midseason grades. If you have not listened to the episode of us grading the defensemen and goalies, check that out too. We'd really appreciate it. And we will see you guys for the next episode.